And as we talk about people who love, our next speaker is a wonderful example of that. And I have a bio here. Most of you here are familiar with her. If you're not, she has made an impact even on the landscape here at Unity Village. Now, she is ordained in religious science and in divine science, and I had the honor of being the one who ordained her in divine science. But she changed the landscape here on Unity Village because they named a little stream over here, a little creek, Martha Creek. So she changed that. She's made a tremendous impact on lives. Many of you, and I have a whole, is it okay if I just take this from here and do my own stuff here for a second? Because she has done so many things, working with different boards and organizations and helping bring harmony there. I mention this often if I have the opportunity to introduce her. Actually, not only did she introduce me to my wife back in 1998, if it weren't for her, I wouldn't have my wife in my life unless I'd found some other way. God would have had to find another way, because I am blessed to have someone that I love dearly with all my heart, in that being my wife, and I'll always be indebted to Martha for that. But also, that was the way I got introduced to New Thought. Little did I know, she had just really gotten started at a religious science church, and she'd said to my wife, about coming over on Sunday morning, so that was one of our things, was to start that. And we were both going to the same church at the same time 28 years ago. So a lot to be thankful for tonight. But if you're looking, and you're looking to hear wisdom, you're looking to hear love, you will hear it tonight. She is the Reverend Dr. Martha Creek. She has her master's and doctorate from Emerson Theological Seminary. I'll throw that in because I will give a plug for Emerson. That's right. I think Emerson's a wonderful school, and I appreciate all they do. She, for years, one of the things that she was best known for was for her work with Byron Katie's teaching. And she would say, well, so the question, is it true? She is a master at asking questions, and I cannot tell you how she's impacted my life. And tonight, the fact that you're sitting here hearing me, that's an impact that started with this lady. So, Reverend Dr. Martha Creek.
Introduced him to his wife, and she still speaks to me. They are a match made. Is there a heaven? Is there a heaven? Is there a heaven? Yeah. So it's time we act like it. And somewhere along the way, it says, we're here with some spiritual accountability that I just heard something about. Some spiritual accountability that it says somewhere in there that we're here to bring heaven to earth. So that means we gotta wake up and stay woke up and get off our mat and do something if we're going to live in this accountability, this kind of responsibility that we have. And I sincerely believe that we've been put here in this time for this purpose. And if anybody else could do it, they'd be here. So guess who? Guess who it is? So it did start a long time ago with me, 1997, with religious science, first practitioner training, then a minister in religious science. Then I applied to Unity, and they said, no, thank you. And that didn't stop me, because I said, thank you, and I'll go on and serve Unity, because Unity and religious science and the principles of New Thought are my living principles. So 28 years ago, and then eventually ordained in divine science, and I never set out to get an ordination of any kind because I was ordained way back there, like I believe you were. And I stood right over there in the Fillmore Chapel when I left here following the interviews and the processes, already clear that it was a no for me, not no to unity, yes to unity, yes to new thought, yes to unity principles, and no to that particular platform. It was not necessary for me. A great platform. Thousands have been served by it for how many years? Over 100 years. A no for me, and my highest spiritual practice is to follow the guidance I get. It's not popular at times. That I'd rather be looking at the ocean too, instead of dusting myself off and saying, who will go? Who's going to do this? So I've served now all these years, 28 years. I knew as a little girl, 3 years old, that I was a minister. I was here to be a minister. I believe minister is a verb, not a noun. So I believe we're here to minister, to be minister, and to bring heaven to earth in that way. And I said out loud at age 3 that I am a minister and going to be a minister, and I was laughed at because there's no such thing as a female minister, period. So I knew I cannot speak this again to people that are asleep, and it was not spoken again, and it did not deter me. That I knew what I'm here to do, what I've got to do, and have been about it since then, just like each of you have in your own ways, I believe. So there's no way that I could thank you. So I hope that the feeling of thanks I have in my heart can be conveyed to you. Unspeakable thanks to you and to all of you that are here. So we say new thought has progressed. Has it? You know, when I said this, I believe, and then I'm kind of fantasy struck when I put something up like this, that we are appearing from ancient truths, which I'll go through a little bit tonight, to a global awakening. Can you believe it with me? That new thought is not something started with Ernest Holmes. It's not something that started with Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in the Grove. These are ancient truths, and we're riding now a wave of a potential, an infinite potential that says the global awakening that is shaking loose somewhat, that we're on a precipice of shaking it loose as we shake ourselves loose to say a global awakening is possible here and now. N-O-W, now. So, wish somebody could follow me around and hold this thing. Charles and Myrtle, Melinda Kramer, Nona Brooks, you all know the history. Annie Millets. International New Thought Alliance since 1914. That's a long time ago. A long time ago. And here we sit. Here we are, under that umbrella, under that possibility. And I have prayed consecutively for 28 years that I would see in my lifetime International New Thought, Association for Global New Thought, Association of Global New Thought, Affiliated New Thought Network, Hillside, Federation of Better Living, in one room, at one table, at one meal, at one conference, representing New Thought. So here we be. Here we be. And then the question is, N-O-W, now what? Now what? Now what? So Socrates said it is this, an unexamined life. Now see, this gets tempting, because if we're not careful, I spend all my time examining yours. And like, what's up with you? So that leaves no one here to, what Mama would say, to sweep under my own feet, to examine my own life. How much have I DONE'd this week? What am I going to do besides pray and send loving thoughts? Not to look outside to truth, but to awaken it within us. This is the heartbeat of New Thought. Didn't start 100 years ago. Plato says it, who reminds us there's more to reality than meets the eye. Reality created where? And we can change our reality. Sound familiar? And how much of this have we preached? And then how much, if we're not careful, we still are just one thought away from an animal, from kicking somebody in the shin, going back to their inventory. This statement could be as spoken in any New Thought service today, although it came from a long time ago. Aristotle grounded philosophy. Happiness depends on ourselves, not on circumstances, not on luck, but how we live, how we choose, the action we take, how we embody the teachings, how we embody virtue. And I say it's a good thing I wasn't around when the unity principles were founded, because I'd have started with the fifth one. I'd inverted them. You know what I mean? God is, I am, I think that way, I pray that way, and I live that way. It's like, well, I think that ought to be first. Because the more I live that way, the more I'll pray that way, the more I'll think that way, the more I'll realize I am that I am, and then God is all there is as an embodiment of it, not a concept or a theory of this. Phineas Quimby, I was here in the fall for Anton. Please come back to our conference too, October 5th. Come back, we have time here too. And I asked AI that day, who's the founder of New Thought? And Phineas Quimby was the answer to it. Therapist for Mary Baker Eddy. Breakaways. So here we go with the origins of what we call New Thought. Master Eckhart. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. Over and over, humanity has been reminded God is not distant, but nearer than our hands and our feet, within and in our own very essence. So what? Then so what? If this is true, then so what? Emerson lit a fire of transcendentalism. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what is within us, and planted seeds that grew the New Thought movement, that threw fertilizer on what we were already doing and about, and gave us a catapult, a place forward. So most, even that don't identify with New Thought, can relate to Emerson, may quote Emerson or uplift it. Charles Fillmore, co-founder of Unity, Practical Spirituality. When we commune with Spirit within and ask for new ideas, they're always coming forward, just like a book may pour out of you. Just like you may get up and go towards something, you don't know why you're going toward that. Just like that. Just like you may be called to reach out to somebody. Call them. You may be called to record a prayer and send it to Jamaica. Or you may be called to write a check and then quit talking about everybody else and say, if I examine myself, what did I do? What did I do today for the folks in Jamaica? That's a very different matter. Myrtle Fillmore, this is my favorite quote of Myrtle Fillmore. You have it within you to do all that you need to do. You do not have within you what she has within her. You do not have what Reverend Shara has within her. Reverend Ruth, you don't have within you what is within me. I have gifts you don't have. I have gifts I don't have. And you still have within you all that you need to do what you're here to do. And then my favorite part, get at it. This is why I love her. And second, because she didn't have a kitchen, because she knows it was a useless waste of space. And I concur. So look around at somebody and tell them, get at it. Get at it. Get at it. What are you going to hear tonight? What fire are we going to light under ourselves to say, I can't sit back anymore and wait for Jack Bomar to change the world. That I'm going to have to dust myself off and get at it. And get at it. So maybe we might try that on this week a little bit as we're traipsing around here. Just like, good morning, get at it. Let's go meditate, get at it. Get off that meditation butt, let's get it. Emily Cady, God is within us, waiting to be expressed. Get at it. Divine presence is always, always, always and already indwelling. Spiritual growth is uncovering it, remembering it, not acquiring it. So don't read another library of friggin' books and then think you've done something. Like, deal with your amygdala. That'll be doing something. You know, see if we can get at it. See if we can. This is why you'd rather be with your cats and dogs, by the way, because they're more in line. They're in the mammalian brain. They're easier to be with than most people because we're regressed. Down here, that's where snakes and lizards, by the way, the reptilian brain. So that's why it's like, oh, I'll just hang out with my cat and dog. It's like, well, yeah, because they're and they don't bite when a bark will do, you know. We're better off with them. Then she adds, the truth is in you. Melinda Kramer, Divine Science, and then Nona Brooks. This is, God is the one presence, one power. And I am included in that presence. I am included. Can you say it and get a sense of it? Maybe put your hand over your heart. Like, God is the one presence and one power, and I am included in that presence. I'm included in that power. I have not been left out of this. And when you doubt it, check your pulse. See if you have one. Then you'll know, oh, I'm included in this. That power and presence is within me. Whatever is breathing me has something in mind for me today besides what most of us have been up to, because we ain't got at it yet. Ernest Holmes. Do y'all love this picture of him? Yeah. Isn't it something? Yeah, he's Lisa Stewart's boyfriend. Yep. There is a power for good in the universe greater than we are. And we can use it, and it uses us to the degree that, and so get at it, to the degree that we are atoned, at one with it, aligned with it to that degree, and it's knock, knock, knocking. Wake up, girl. Do you see how she looked at me? Get at it. I saw the way she looked at you. That belongs to her. Those eye rolls, those condescending tones, leave it. Leave it where it belongs. My favorite Dr. Martin Luther King story about him was somebody spit in his face. You've heard it? And he took his handkerchief out and wiped it off and said, "Sir, this belongs to you." That's that. That's that. Right where it belongs. And now most of us will go tell something like that the rest of our lives. You know, like, I had a flat tire. I went out to go after all I've done for God. I went out to go to church and I had a flat tire. Ain't it awful? Ain't it awful? No, it's a flat tire. It's a very different thing. And the more I call it awful, guess what I'm going to experience? And the more I awfulize it, guess what I'm going to get? And then we go, "Oh, Martha, that makes a lot of sense." It's like, whew, look at that flat tire. Now, what would a sane, sensible person do in the face of a flat tire? Exactly. Call Dale Worley or Jerry and get some of them over here, or AAA, and get an inflated tire on that and go on about your day. But then see this temptation. Oh, the temptation. "Hey, Martha, how's it going?" "It was fine till I went out and had a flat tire." After all I've done, I have a flat tire all the time. I get them all the time. I have lived with flat tires since I was a baby. Oh, the temptation. Lead me not into the temptation of the mind. Deliver me. Deliver me from the allure to awfulize. And we get high off of it. You know that? Like, the science proves it. Like, this, with the same drugs, courses through offended people and affronted people that's getting high off of it, that goes through like drug addicts from those drugs, those narcotics. So it's no little thing to interrupt that, to catch that allure, to catch that high and go, maybe there's a better high. Maybe there's a, just maybe, there's a better way to be with this. So New Thought is an expansion. International New Thought, Unity, Centers for Spiritual Living, the Science of Mind, Divine Science Affiliated New Thought Network, Association for Global New Thought, Agape, Universal Foundation for Better Living, Hillside Chapel, Truth Center. So these are epicenters, power centers, gatherers, foundations to hold a light for us. And guess who's responsible for the next iteration of expansion? Because our teachers, Robert just volunteered, Dale, our teachers did their job. They did their job. And then we've got to plant the trees that they sowed the seeds for, to plant some more trees that we may never get to sit under the shade of. And we've got to plant them anyway. They've got to be planted now. So global consciousness, this is part of our expansion, I believe, that we've got a movement from local churches to global spiritual networks. And how can we continue to do that? That we have our centers, small and mighty centers, and how to get small and mighty center energy into a global spiritual network. And to keep our strong alignment with our oneness and a collective awakening that we can only lead. So the butterfly effect, the tipping point, whatever we can call it, whatever is going to affect this. So we don't have to be the 13th monkey or the 100th monkey or whatever it is. We got to be the first monkey. We got to be the one that says we can't wait around and be the last one. We got to be the one that starts this. That our Western roots become global expressions, and that our humanity, The emphasis on humanity is a shared spiritual organism, an organization of humanity, not just a theory of oneness. So I think we've moved, I hope we've moved from manifestation, ideas and concepts around manifestation, to embodiment. From the earlier focuses on law of attraction and mental causation, to an embodied spirituality, a living truth that is systems specific, that understands that what is affected in one is affected in all. And this systems theory is not new. And that we are awake to the difference between power and force. Integration with psychology and deep inner work, including looking at the traumas that we hold and take some accountability not to become the hurts we've all endured, not to become and to live and express and pass down the next 7 generations the hurts that we have endured, and not just our lived experiences, but the legacy burdens of that's been handed down, to have some kind of interruption in that, to say that's got to stay where it belongs to. We can't bring that forward anymore. And to find very conscious, intentional, mindful ways to keep our nervous system regulated, even in the face of threats. Even in the face of threats. And I got immersed in the work of Richard Schwartz about 4 years ago now, and it's been beneficial to me, so it's included here in dealing with some of this deeper inner work from IFS, Inner Family Systems. Self-compassion, mindfulness, nothing new there, and I can tell you for myself that I've practiced offering compassion. If you'd have asked me, am I a compassionate person, most of my life, I would have said, yeah, pretty good. But guess who I'd left out of the compassion? Guess who had been bypassed, trying to dose it, trying to give it out to somebody else? So it's like, hi-ho, back to home we go. Instead of hi-ho, off to hell we go again, to keep doing it the same old way. And that it's like when I've teased that when we die today, what would your gravestone say? What would be on your gravestone today? Here lies Martha. She had issues. Here lies Martha. She had dramas. Here lies Martha. She could complain. What will it say? Versus, I don't want that on my headstone. Like, here lies Martha. Instead of issues, here lies Martha. She had ideas. Here lies Martha. She had dramas. Here lies Martha. She had discernment. She got up. She was at it. Martha got something done. Here lies Martha. Issues, ideas, dramas, doing, dreams. What's it going to be? So it's clear, I think, that we've gotten more collaborative. I pointed it out earlier. We had it a few years ago, featured by the INTA conference up in Chicago for the first time, that there was a whole panel, a whole crew up there, represented all the youth thought organizations and leaders and movements and that. Hopefully less hierarchy, shared leadership, team-based ministries, global spiritual dialogues. And we're seeing collaboration through Unity, CSL, and Anton that introduced last fall here, the Awakened Path. And this is inclusive of everybody. That was the first 3 that got together to sow the seeds for it, to get something laid out, an idea for it, and a website for it. And it's right there, an awakenedpath.org. So check it out and stay tuned for more collaboration in that way. Social consciousness and justice awareness. A growing engagement. Not an idea of inclusivity. Not a concept of diversity. But actual work toward it and work for it. Social healing. And a movement that has shifted from an individual mind that creates reality to a collective consciousness that will shape systems. A collective consciousness of the power of the more, the power of the many that has more power than me or a few. And then willingness to address, just what you've heard here tonight, racism and economic disparity and the historical wounds that our family, our brothers and sisters have endured and still got up again and got dressed and went back at it. Over and over and over again. My favorite part of humans, resilience. Resilience. Find a way. And then digital and hybrid communities. We've seen an expansion of online services, meditation groups. One of my buddies does an insight meditation that he started in 2018. And he's done it every single Saturday since then, with now hundreds of thousands of people meditating with him, like a unity minister up in Canada. Virtual workshops, spiritual community that are no longer bound by geography. So increased accessibility and inclusivity. Healing centers, grief work, addiction work, trauma healing, paralleled with 12-step spirituality as a spiritual path, somatic healing. These are mainstream. This is commonplace. This is TVs, books, shows, movies, medicine. This is no longer rare. These things that we had some insight into earlier. So spirituality as a path of integration and no more avoidance. Even when it's very, very scary. So this is my boyfriend. And back off. And I thought about it as I prepared this, like, what would I say? Like, what quote would you pull from if you resonate with Jesus? Like, what would it be? And what I said was what I felt. To the degree I understand what he understood, that's it. And to the degree I understand what he understood, then I've got to live it. It is no more quoting it and referring to it. So we can talk about Jesus for the next 2,000 years or be about what Jesus was about 2,000 years ago. The divine presence is within me. And as I align my consciousness with it, my life reflects it. And if you can't get into Jesus, maybe you can get into Yoda. Luke said, I can't believe it. And Yoda says, you are not a Jedi yet. That is why you failed. So our core principles, the wisdom is not new. The message is forever the same. The divine is within us. Thought shapes reality. Love heals. We're not victims of fate. We're co-creators with spirit. And we're not inventing. We're remembering. Consciousness creates experience. We're not creating something new. We're rediscovering what has always been true and are responsible for lifting it up, for living it. A creative accountability and responsibility and an inner awareness to shape the experience of an outer life. So why does it matter? Why does new thought matter? Now, like right now, NOW, the nature of this conference. Why does new thought matter now? How would you respond to that?
Because our principles are so phenomenal that if they were fully integrated into our world, we'd have a different world.
Because our principles are so phenomenal. It's from Reverend Jackie. Our principles are so phenomenal. If they were integrated in us and in the world, we would be living in a different world. We'd see and experience a different world. Why new thought? Why new thought? Why does it matter? It's available, thank you, Reverend Lisa, it's available to everyone equally. You don't have to go anywhere, know anybody. It's available, accessible, and as close as our breath. Now, I said this when I spoke. I did a similar presentation at the Anton conference for our open house, which we had, they said, upwards of 600 people gathered over there in the Goppert Center to get people in here across these invisible barriers of Unity Village, that how many people are within this and won't cross the threshold to come on here. Like, it's mystifying, really. And I had an idea, a vision to say, if we can get them across that threshold, we can do something. So we worked with that, me and a team of people, months and months to get that going. And we filled up the house, like an open house, and a big community choir formed and whatever else. And there's a story in there that I put in the newsletter, my little once-a-month newsletter. You can get it by going to the website, marthacreek.com. It's free. And she said, when she got there, she brought her 13-year-old little boy with her, and he's Baptist. And when he got there, he was backing up instead of coming in. And so she just asked him, like, are you all right? And he said, like, give me a minute here. There was vendors all around and people selling things and crystals and all matters of things out in the lobby. Then he heard Ricky Byers' music. She just gave him a minute, let him stand there. She said he started tapping his toe to that music. Then he was ready to go toward it a little bit. What's in here? And she asked him, does he want to go on in? Does he want to stay? And he said he did. So they came on in, and she reported it as he felt like God loved him by what was being said there that night. That God loved him and didn't ask of anything else of him to be loved. And he said, I believed that Creek woman when she said what she loved about Unity the most was it doesn't leave anyone out. And he believed it didn't leave him out either. So a life was changed that night in least expecting ideas and if ways, and if nothing became of that night, And quite a bit came of that night. But if nothing had to come from that night but that, that's all right. That's all right. That some little 13-year-old boy felt loved. And that he didn't have to do something to earn God's love or be different than he was to be loved by God. So here's the big question of the night then. What will we do with these teachings? What will we do with these principles? So if Socrates is right, then we've got to examine our own lives. We've got to examine our own ways. We've got to examine why we do what we do and why we don't do what we're called to do. And why we keep doing what we say we ain't going to do no more. And if Aristotle is right, then our happiness depends on us, and we're not ever going to be happy if we've left somebody else to suffer and not done anything about that suffering. And how to be in the suffering, how to be in the world and not be of it. How to be in the suffering and not be of it. It's not so easy, huh? And Katie, you're right. Then we must take spiritual responsibility, spiritual accountability for how we're being. So the healing of the soul of humanity will not come by accident. It will not come from one leader or a savior. It will come as each one of us awakens, wakes up, stays awake, and chooses to live a truth that's a devotional practice for sure, and embodiment. Lived action, expressed. So what will you do now? What will you do this week while you're here to live this truth? What thought of gratitude can you hold? Who can you say thanks to? I was reflecting earlier and talking with Sheila and with Jack and Tim and some of the others, like that 28 years of what a blessed life it's been for me. The places I've been inviting into, I've served over 250 Unity churches. I've been a keynote speaker in almost every region of Unity, including Canada 5 times. I have spent the night in Bishop Dr. Barbara King's home and been fed by her, physically and otherwise, because she knew I meant what I said. When I said, "What is it you need support with?" And she told me, and the support was there. So I've had a lot of opportunity in this, and I hold accountability to do something with that. Not to speak about it, not to wave it as a flag of some sort, but what will I do with what they started, with what she started, with what she started, with what Reverend Mary Tumpkin started, and the Fillmores, and everybody else that's come before us. What will you be known for? What's going to be on your gravestone? Because you're writing it today. You're engraving your tombstone today and this week. So each one of our actions is not a small one. There's no small action in this context. A cosmic action, and every choice is a step toward the healing of humanity's soul and actually demonstrating what we claim to believe as New Thought principle. So would you say this with me together? Together we can do what cannot be done alone. Again, together we can do what cannot be done alone. Together we can do what cannot be done alone. So what will we do? What will we do? What will you do? And see if you can answer it. Just as we close. Just close your eyes maybe. And see what comes to you as you open to a divine idea. What will I do? What is mine to do? And then tell it to somebody. Just find somebody by you and tell them, I'm going to do something. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. See if you can speak it. Tell somebody. See if you can put a stake out here, that we're not here just to sit and think some more. What will you do? Tell somebody. We can't leave till you tell somebody. You better do it. We'll be here all night. Okay, so one of the things I'm going to do is offer you a cookie. It's right over there in those brown boxes. And they were given to me by somebody from Unity Village Chapel when I was here serving the Sisters of Myrtle Fillmore event just 2 weeks ago. So you're welcome to have them. There's also a book for you, and this was similar. So I've spent years with people saying, write a book, write a book, write a book. And I'm like, you write a dang book. I'm busy. It's like, and look at here. Because it's what I live. It's what I live. So they're yours, they're a gift. You're welcome to have it. You're welcome to take one to somebody else. So I ask you this, to use the book. If you don't want it, give it away. If you will teach out of it and set up a class, invite me in, I'll come in. There's no charge for it. If you don't like somebody and you don't like the book, give them the book. Leave it in a doctor's office. Do something with it. Don't leave it stuck on a shelf, because I live and my mission is to serve those who serve, which is why I'm here tonight. To serve those who serve, and to get empowered teachings to the whole of the world. This is yet another way to do it. So this is something I am doing and will do. So you got a cookie and a book, and I'll be over there at the table. And this is how I spoke at UVC last week or 2 weeks ago, and this is what came through me that I hadn't prepared to say, and here it is again tonight. My transformation, I'm accountable for. My transformation, I'm accountable for. And transformation occurs when I stop negotiating with what I know to be true. Stop pussyfooting around with what I know to be the truth. Then transformation occurs. And that's how to contact me. And you can help me get these teachings out into the world, because I can reach this many. But then see if y'all like it and subscribe and put it out there, we can reach this many. Then eventually this many. So together we can do what I cannot do alone either. And then tomorrow we're going to do a workshop about resilience and relevance and staying rooted as we lead new thought into a changing world. And if that's interesting to you, then come. And I'll learn from you too. And I'll see you then. In any way I can ever serve you, in any way, for any reason, get directly in touch with me. And I love you and can't help it. And it's an honor to be here with you tonight.